So, Ash, Brandon, Daniel, Derek, who is a floating being right now, we just watched the Nintendo Direct for the 14th of September. And I think, I'm seeing a bit of a consensus out there that this was a bit of a mid one. But we were in a little bubble divided from all of that. And we were just chatting together, being like, that was so good. There's so many cool announcements in there. And then you go on Twitter and everyone's just like, man, Nintendo, they've lost their groove. But Ash, what was the highlight for you? And did you think this was a good presentation?
Uh, I thought it was a good one. So for me, the highlight was probably that it was proven that there is a Sora amiibo coming. I'm so happy about that. But if I'm being honest, the highlight of all the highlights for me is definitely the Thousand Year Door. In general, I thought it was a good direct for me, but it wasn't a great one. At least in terms of my personal taste. I'm not going to say that it was a crappy direct for everybody. No way. It was a good one, but it wasn't necessarily attuned to my tastes perfectly. Not that it should be. But yeah, I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it.
We'll get into the specifics of this game in a bit, but Another Code is like, I never thought that series would
Yeah.
ever come back. The developer Sing is dead. I don't know who's even making that game. But it's one of the best DS games, one of the best Wii games, and I can't think of a single thing that has shocked me as much as seeing Another Code come back. Brandon, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty jazzed. I see a lot of people saying that this is Mario Direct V2. As the resident Mario stan, that appeals directly to me. So I'm pretty happy right now.
And Daniel, like going into this, we kind of already knew Mario versus Donkey Kong was a thing. We knew F-Zero 99 was a thing because Pyoro leaked it. Were the reveals of those games underwhelming? Or like, did it kind of help that we knew what they were beforehand?
I don't think it was underwhelming because I didn't expect to see the fidelity of visuals for Mario versus Donkey Kong to look as good as it does. And the fact that they're really focusing on Mario and Donkey Kong, not just, the minis. They're kind of pushing the minis to the side right now, and it's mostly focused on them too because it's the original game, right? That's what they're remaking.
Yeah, it's a
for
remake
this
of the
game.
GBA game, which is the best possible outcome.
Right.
Because after
Yeah.
GBA,
Yeah.
they went all in on the minis. It was Lemmings rather than Donkey Kong 94. Like the GBA game is outright a sequel to DK 94. It has some minis in there, but the core gameplay is the same. Like key finding, opening the lock, doing like the Mario 64 backflip, is all that stuff. It's a really really good game. So I hope people don't sleep on this one just because it's Mario versus DK. This really is a sequel to the Game Boy game.
Yeah, that's just so interesting because I've never actually played the original Mario versus Donkey Kong, and looking at what I saw there, it looks so creative. It's so interesting. There's two-player availability now. I don't know if that was a thing before, if that's just for this version now. So it wasn't, yeah. And
I didn't play Game Boy Advance games with other people.
Yeah.
This is a new thing to me, even if it was in the original.
But you know what isn't going to be a solo experience is F-Zero 99. There's going to be so many races in that. It looked chaotic and crazy. It's not the remaster that I was hoping we would get, or even a new game. I'll take what I can get, but geez, boy, do I want an original F-Zero title. But I'm going to take what we can get. Apparently, because Pac-Man 99 is going to cease its own
in a few weeks.
Production, in a few weeks. So we're gonna be having this play. It's available right now. I need to download that right now and play it. But it looks really cool. Like I had a feeling it would be something kind of like what they did with Death Race and Mario and F-Zero X, and it's just the most aggressive racing game now filled to the brim with so many people. It looks like Highway 880 over here in California. I'm excited to see just what there is waiting for us because it looks like a lot of fun.
It does, and like F-Zero, the Super Nintendo game, in my opinion, isn't one of the best ones. I think X and GX are the pinnacle F-Zero. The original is very good, and I was hoping that they would go for like an original style, or even do F-Zero X because it was primed for that sort of death race style. But you know what's here? It looks really good, and I can't wait to play it. It's out right now. We could be playing it right now, but instead we're discussing it.
Talking about playing it, yeah.
Yeah. Derek, you're a floating void. How do you feel?
I honestly came away from this direct very happy. Yes, it is Mario focused, but the Mario on display here is kind of peak Mario right now. Like there's not really any that I'm seeing that I'm not feeling, because I've never played the original Mario versus Donkey Kong. I just skipped it, and this looks like a pretty solid update. Like, I did not know, when you hear Mario versus Donkey Kong anymore, you think of the minis, and the fact that it's a remake instead of dealing with the minis, that's much more interesting. Then you got Mario RPG, new content, new super attacks together. That's great. You got Princess Peach with her Showtime and all the costumes, and that's just a delight right there. Always fun to see. And of course, ending on Thousand Year Door, which, how can you not enjoy that? That is just a wonderful take.
Man.
Seeing that finally get away from the GameCube, so people don't have to pay out the ass for it, and it's great. And we got more about the final booster course pass, and only one new track that we got confirmed this time, but they focused on the characters, and we got 4 new characters somehow. Only 2 slots, but hey, have 4, and I don't know how they're gonna do it, but we got Funky, we got Diddy, we got Peachette, we got Pauline. Why not? It's all solid from the Mario front. So yeah, people are complaining that's more another Mario Direct, but when the Mario games are kind of hitting all really well, and even WarioWare, if you want to include that into it, they all look
We heard
fun.
his voice. We heard what the new Wario properly speak in a full sentence.
Right.
He spoke a sentence. Yeah, he spoke a
I think
sentence.
Brandon
It was
told us
weird.
something back there. Yeah, you go ahead.
I was gonna say an addendum to Mario Kart. We got 3 new characters and Peachette.
Just so weird.
Is that what they're
think,
gonna do? Are they gonna slot Peachette as a skin for Peach, and then Funky Kong as a skin for Donkey Kong, and then the other two have the 2 spaces? Like, how are they doing it?
Peach isn't
My-
Peachette though. Peachette is Toadette.
It's Toadette. Yeah,
It is
that's
so
weird.
random. My hashtag
then
continues. Free Dixie. Free Dixie, Nintendo. I just want my girl back. I'm so annoyed.
You can play
Yeah.
Mario
Salty.
Kart Tour and play as her in that.
Yeah, I don't
That's
want to
true.
play as well. Yeah, but it's Mario Kart Tour, right? Another thing. Speaking of salt, so I know people are calling it Mario Direct V2. Fine, cool. It does not count as a true Mario Direct V anything if they didn't bring back Mario 35. That's all I'm going to say about that. Doesn't count.
I think
Doesn't count.
the big criticism I have of this direct is it is very remake heavy. The Princess Peach game is like the only highlight new thing. Other than that, like Another Code coming back is amazing, but they're also remakes. Paper Mario is a remake. F-Zero is taking the basis of an older game. Tomb Raider remakes. Like this is all really cool stuff, but it's also not like brand new stuff. However, though, let's just focus on the biggest thing for a moment. So Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. People have wanted this game to come back for a long time, and now it's the best time because the shackles of Mario have been unleashed. We're in the Princess Peach game that they are able to do whatever they want with Princess Peach right now. We've seen with Mario Wonder they're doing whatever. And I think they're listening very, very intently with Thousand Year Door because there's not even a white outline. They know how much people don't like that white outline. Everything people wanted from Thousand Year Door is here. They haven't changed a thing.
No.
Everything in the Thousand Year Door, it pops as it is. It doesn't need a white outline. The card style is beautiful. The aesthetic looks wonderful, and you don't need to have something to help, make that a point. This is one of the best games ever made. This is one of my favorite games ever, Thousand Year Door. It holds a very special place in my heart. And I'm glad they chose Thousand Year Door. I love the original Paper Mario. I kind of flip-flop between which one I like more, but we already have that on NSO. So people can experience it that way, and it's kind of hard to imagine that in a modern style, where I think it lends itself much more gracefully to HD, going from the GameCube version to the Thousand Year Door HD. And just looking at it, we saw a lot of parts of it. They wanted to show this game off a lot because you saw a lot of different points of the story and different locations there, and all of it, the lighting, the way the music has been remixed as well. It all looks and sounds very beautiful, and I don't know if you saw my reaction, but I'm a little excited for this. For this,
Is your chair okay, Daniel? You broke it
no.
during the reaction.
It's not. I'll figure that out later. But yeah.
What I find interesting is, Nintendo has previously commented on having multiple Mario RPG series like existing at the same time, and here they are just blatantly releasing 2 different RPG experiences, assuming within like 6 months of each other. That's crazy to me. They just don't care now. It definitely feels like Nintendo's new guard has stepped up. There's a very different business strategy taking place here. And I love it. They're appealing to me.
It's not just two any RPGs either. These are two very distinct RPGs that have their own themes, their own original characters, their own twists on existing characters. It's like a statement, really. And it's incredibly exciting what this means for the future, because these are two back-to-back remakes, but they will be doing a new game, a new Paper Mario game, probably not that far off. And I can't wait to see what they do with that, with just fully unleashed, doing whatever they want, new characters, new location. It's an exciting future.
Mm-hmm. Could Superstar Saga be next? I mean, it got remade once technically on 3DS, but like, could a proper big screen remake?
I don't think that's as exciting. I'll be honest.
The Alpha Dream be mine. Yeah, I mean, I would like it, but yeah, it's not as exciting as
I think because of
your door.
Superstar Saga and Bowser's Inside Story already getting remade, it's not exciting.
Right. Yeah, it's not as
also
as much as
in general. I think after this, just push the brakes on remakes. Like Mario RPG, Thousand Year Door, great stuff. Mm-hmm. New stuff now. I think just like getting it back on track, that's great. I think we need new stuff after this, though.
Yeah, seeing how people react and how powerfully people respond to seeing these games, Mario RPG, Thousand Year Door, as you mentioned, like both of these games have wildly original characters that are not in any other Mario in any other space in the Mario franchise, and people want that individuality. We don't want different colored toads with hats on them. We want to see the actual characters with personalities as they shine, very unique kinds of characters that you don't see in any other Mario game. And if people respond to that well and the game does well, I hope we see a original Paper Mario game or Mario RPG, whatever direction they want to take with that in the future, and to see just that branch of the Mario series thrive again, because I really miss it.
It's also hard to be too critical of Nintendo releasing all of these remakes, as big remakes as they are. Right. If this is actually going to be like Switch's swan song year going into the next platform, like I think this is a safe way to let the Switch just kind of go to bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go to bed, Switch. I think I liked Origami King more than a lot of people did, maybe even more than most.
Too.
But I do hope that this remake is maybe going to be used as a litmus test going forward to as to what the audience wants from Paper Mario going forward. Because I loved Origami King, except for the battle system. So that's what Origami King's production values married to a more RPG-esque battle system could be mind blowing.
So what Ash is saying is buy this game. Buy this game. You want this to be the future of Paper Mario.
I
mean, at least people can afford this game, because I think there is the argument against remakes, but a lot of the remakes that we're getting in this set, Thousand Year Door, Another Code, I don't know about Mario versus Donkey Kong, they're not exactly cheap to get in the used game market. It's very difficult to find or stuff like that.
Especially
so I don't
titles.
mind remakes in that case. Yes, it's always good to have new stuff, but to have the ability to get some of the stuff that's just not available. It's like if we got the Fire Emblem, GameCube and Wii titles, that's great, because those are really hard to find.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Mario vs. Donkey Kong is very interesting because it's not expensive. It could very well be an NSO title. They could have just put the GBA version on there if they wanted to. Mm-hmm. But I also think that's kind of a statement too, because the mini games, I don't know if they sold well. They don't seem to have like a big fan base. Like me personally, I adore Donkey Kong 94. I really like the GBA, the first game that's being remade. But everything else, it's not me. I don't care for that stuff. So I greatly hope that they return like with a new game that follows what they're doing right here with the remake.
I think that's very possible because, well, this just ties into the movie. Kids know that Mario and Donkey Kong have this rivalry, so here's a game that we have that can feed into that. It's very much based on that. We had Action Peach in the movie. Well, guess what? Here's Peach in her own game getting action sequences with her new costumes and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's really expanding upon what the movie did and taking advantage of that.
Did the original Mario vs. Donkey Kong have a level editor at all?
I don't know.
I can't remember. I only really played the single player. I didn't really touch other stuff.
I think this could be a good opportunity to introduce something like that, because I don't think it would be too hard to implement given the way the game is designed. Right. And that would give it a nice online feature. More reason to keep playing after you're done.
Yeah.
It does. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No,
Oh,
you go.
it does make me just kind of want to ponder about Donkey Kong's wider future. Like, it has
Yeah.
been a decade since Tropical Freeze. A
Yeah.
decade. It is cool. I think I agree with you, John. I think this remake is the best possible outcome for a new Mario versus DK game. Sure. But where's the next DK game is what I want to know. Where is it? It's been a decade, man.
Well, they're being very remake heavy, I think, because the Switch is on its way out.
Yeah.
The only big new game here is Princess Peach, and I think that's going to sell incredibly well. While we're here, let's talk about Princess Peach a bit. So this was revealed prior, and they teased it a little bit, didn't really show much gameplay, and they gave it a stupid title that was on their financial sheets, like Princess Peach is starring in a new game for Nintendo Switch or something like that. We finally know it's called, was it Princess Peach Showtime?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
That's the one.
there is a lot of varied gameplay. It's not like a particularly like one thing focused game. Peach is getting into new costumes. She's doing sword combat. She's cooking. Like there's so many different things going on, and it looks so chill. Like I just want to vibe with this game. It looks like something anyone can just play and get and learn more about Peach, because there's so few Nintendo games outside of a few RPGs that really explore her character. Like usually she's just someone we're saving, but now she's like fully taking it into her own hands in a very different way to what Super Princess Peach did, and a way better direction than that game too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
kind of hope that, alongside having her carry the game, that Mario and Luigi just don't show up at all. Like, just leave them
I
out.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just let
I'd be cool
her
with that.
have the entire spotlight, like literally the spotlight.
And they can
Yeah.
make people happy by, beat the game and you unlock Daisy or Rosalina in the title role. Doesn't change the story or anything like that, but it's just them, and you get to see them in the costumes, which people will love.
Yeah.
I do love that they're returning to the Super Mario Odyssey costume for her, because that was such a fun thing in Odyssey to see her travel the world and be in all these cool different costumes. Now we got a game based on that, and I think that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had like quite a few Mario spin-offs on the Switch, but like none have really, outside like Mario and Rabbids, none have really been new. Like we've had a new tennis, a new golf. But other than that, I don't think Switch really has like a sub-genre of Mario to call its own, other than maybe Mario 35. So like this is like a brand new direction for Mario, and it's super cool to see.
Definitely, it's not something I would have expected in the Switch's apparent swan song year, but I'm perfectly happy to have it, and I'm excited.
Yeah. I interrupted Daniel there, though. Were you saying something there?
Oh gosh, what was it?
I hate when that happens.
It was too important.
Yep.
It was about
Yeah.
Peach because I didn't say anything about Peach yet, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, to get away from Peach a little bit, how are we feeling about Side Order? Because I think the biggest surprise of that was the fact that it's not coming until spring.
Right?
I'm
Yeah.
getting the impression that Side Order is going to be big. Like, it doesn't
It's gonna
like
it's gonna be a full course, dude. It's not gonna-
like there's elements there that remind me of Octo Expansion, but I don't know. It feels like this is going to be very much its own new concept, especially like we saw damage numbers. Like there's maybe some RPG elements in there. The story is kind of weird. Pearl is a robot for some reason. It does not look like the rest of Splatoon 3, and I think that's really exciting.
Yeah.
I wonder if it'll get
That's
a
what also
physical
expansion
version,
was.
yeah.
like just
That'd
by
be
its
cool.
own.
Yeah, 'cause
Go
Octo
ahead.
Expansion was very dark and black, and because it was in the
Yeah.
subway, but now this is purely like very white, and the contrast is crazy. So I think I love how you can just contrast both of these, and it does seem like there's going to be a lot more to this than we expect. There was a lot more to Octo Expansion than I expected, and
Mhm.
there
Yeah.
might be even more than that going into Side Order, and that's exciting because
As
we've been sorely lacking Pearl and Marina, so I'm just glad to have
Yeah.
that void
Yeah, we
fulfilled as
have.
well.
as a very
I,
white man, this game speaks to me. It's purely white. Yeah. Auto Expansion also gave us Octolings in the multiplayer. Do you think this is going to give us anything, to the broad Splatoon 3 experience?
There's that new character act or something. I can't quite remember, but they have like that pale skin tone, weird colored hair. So maybe like a different cosmetic option for your Inkling or Octoling based on that.
Yeah.
Maybe getting
Oh,
a way
one
to
thing I-
integrate Pearl and Marina into Splatsville.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, one
That's
thing
true.
I continued to get from the new Side Order trailer that I really like from the initial one is that I still keep getting major near Automata vibes, and I'm so cool with that in
Yeah.
Splatoon. That's
Yeah.
so weird,
Just a
but it
copy
also
city.
works. It also works in some weird way. So I'm a little disappointed though that it's as far off as it is. Like, obviously, work on it until it's ready, let it cook, don't rush it out. But I love single player Splatoon, and I was kind of thinking to be out this holiday, but here we are.
Yeah. I want to talk about what I think was the most ambitious remake I've seen in a while, which is Another Code Recollection. This was a DS game. This was a DS like overhead point-and-click adventure for the most
Yeah.
part, and they've made it into a third-person 3D game. They've kept like a lot of the puzzles intact. Like you're kind of what's like a good comparison? I guess somewhat like Professor Layton. Like you'd be in the overworld, then you'd see something. It would go to like a mini game sort of puzzle-looking area. That stuff's in there, but they have fully remade the first DS Another Code into a 3D game, and they've also remade the Wii game, which was already 3D. I think this looks crazy good. There's voice acting in there, and America never got Another Code R, which is one of the best Wii games ever. So this is crazy exciting.
Yeah,
I'm
I think so
so
too.
happy for this. Like you and I were freaking out quite a bit because this was one of those games where I sort of reserved myself. It's like I don't know when I'll get a chance to play this because I just missed out on it the first time around, and I've just heard nothing but good things. But to have this as a collection, to look so gorgeous, to have some amazing box art, we're getting a physical release, unlike what hopefully it's coming to America. I don't know if that's physical releases in the States, but you know, we didn't get don't always get physical releases for these type of collections of lesser known titles.
I think you're probably thinking of
think we
Famicom
did.
Detective Club, which skipped it
Yeah.
entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't get a physical for those either.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to discovering these games. I never got a chance to play them upon their original release. Of course, we never got Another Code R, as you were saying, John. But
Yeah.
these seem like the kind of games that I think my wife and I would enjoy playing together, and I'm always looking, for more stuff for us to play together. So I've always heard great things, and I kind of missed out the first time around. So this is something I'm pretty into.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
two cool
this-
things too. They've ditched the trace memory name, which it was called in America, for Another
Right.
Code, which I think is a better name anyway. But I think one of the coolest things about this game is on the DS in Phantom Hourglass, there was that puzzle that you solved by closing the DS. And people, whenever they think about Phantom Hourglass, they may say, "I didn't like that game much, but that puzzle was cool." Another Code did that first. Phantom Hourglass took that from Another Code. So like, this game's so cool.
Awesome.
Sorry, Daniel, I interrupted you again.
I've never experienced this game. I think the closest experience I've had to this game was the Trophy of Ashley in Smash Brothers Brawl,
Yeah,
and that's like, as Smash does, it teaches me about these games that I probably never would have touched or have played. So it's nice to be able to have a really cool way to introduce myself to the series with this really ambitious looking remake of it. So. And of the one that we didn't get beforehand. I love how they pile in games that we just never really got across all regions as well. That's always exciting for them to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. I think another really cool thing was Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3. I've been begging for classic versions of these games forever.
Nowhere.
Who
Yeah.
asked for this? And then why?
love it.
I've constantly been saying I want the classic Tomb Raiders on Switch. I've never been asking for remakes though. Like I was not expecting this one little bit.
It's an
and
interesting
you
remake
can,
too because it's not like
Yeah.
super high def or anything like that. I wouldn't even say it's on the level of Tomb Raider
blocky.
Legend or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Right.
Their remake or
PS2
anniversary.
levels.
It's just kind of like how you kind of remember PS1 games. And
Yeah.
I'm curious
And
about
you
the
can-
controls because that was always a bit of a sticking point with Tomb Raider.
They definitely had a stiff looking control scheme, but that's kind of how the levels are designed around those. I'm not expecting them to completely change that. But like the environments have sort of like a blocky look to them, and you can toggle between the original low poly, like
I love that.
very blocky model and the more modern looking one. But yeah, it looks so cool. Tomb Raider 2 in particular is one of my favorites on the PS1. I can't wait to try these out.
And I think it's cool too because like Tomb Raider has been for so long focused on the new trilogy and the new Survivor Lara, and she's fine, she's cool. I like that trilogy generally, but like we've seen classic Lara mainly relegated to like the side games like Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light and such for so long now. It's kind of cool to see OG Lara brought back into the spotlight. It came out of nowhere too.
And like OG Lara is still the most iconic Lara.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
think so.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, bringing back those dinosaurs. Finally.
Yeah, bring the dinos back.
About time.
It's funny to like the reboot trilogy. Like at the end of the first one, they finally give Lara her 2 pistols, but then they never go back to that again. And that's like also like a really iconic part of Lara, just those dual wielding pistols with dinos, and just fully embracing the past.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I think that was like of everything in the direct that wasn't like first party Paper Mario. I think that was the biggest genuine surprise from like, whoa, where did these come from? Just like could not have ever guessed it.
Yeah. There's cool smaller stuff in there, like this new Saga game. I don't think we're entirely sold in its style, but it looks good. And like Contra was weird because they did Contra. Was it called Rocore? They're not the great looking game a few years ago. Brought this one back, and it looks better. It looks like classic Contra, but it also doesn't look great, or at least doesn't run great on Switch. Maybe.
No.
I'm really not into the way it looks or plays, for that matter.
Yeah.
Operation Galuga, that's what they're calling it. Yeah, it looks fine, but it's not. I don't think it's necessarily what we wanted from Contra necessarily. I can't speak for everybody else, but when I think Contra, that's not what I see in my mind.
In some ways, it kind of fits because like Contra is kind of based on that like B-movie action hero, and they're delivering us a B-movie game.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I always think back to Hardcore Uprising on the PS3 and 360.
That was so good.
Like, it had such a great 2D style, and why is that not a thing?
I know.
It's a good question. Luigi's Mansion 2 is weird. They've given it the worst logo they could, but it looks better. Like if you look at Luigi, his mustache now has like little details on it, but it's still still like the same model. They've just made it more detailed. The lighting's more detailed, but it still looks like how you remember Luigi's Mansion 2 looking.
Right.
There's nothing going on here that is really appealing me to the idea of an HD upscale. It really does just feel like an HD upscale. It's just the same game.
Yeah.
And there could be some tweaks made to make it a better experience, even some new features. Like it doesn't need a lot, but I don't know. At this point, I'm not too sold.
Right.
Like, why has this been given 2 directs? Like, why is this announced so early? It's a 2024 game.
Yeah. It is really odd. I agree. It's just such it occupies such a weird slot in Nintendo's upcoming release schedule. Kind of there, and it's like, oh yeah, that's a thing. But okay, sure, kind of weird, but okay.
Do you think it's just a way to say like, please keep buying the Switch? We're still putting games out. The successor isn't here yet. Is that what it is?
Maybe.
It might be. What I want it to be is their way of saying, hey, we're going to keep bringing 3DS stuff to the Switch. Look forward to some other stuff. That's not what they're saying. But I wish it was. What I do think is kind of interesting and cool is that they're standardizing the naming for Dark Moon now in all regions. It's just Luigi's Mansion 2 now. Dark Moon's gone. The subtitle's gone. I think Luigi's Mansion 2 is a better name.
Europe's winning in this direct. We got Luigi Mansion 2, we got another code. We just kicked out Trace Memory and Dark Moon. They're out of here.
Yeah. I think what it might be is because Dark Moon was like, forget about Luigi's Mansion 1 didn't sell the best. Or like, well, let's start fresh and don't make people think they needed to play a first one. So it's kind of that idea. But I'm sorry, I interrupted you, Daniel.
This all just seems like the last push for the Switch, because for all we know, this might be the very last direct that solely focuses on the Nintendo Switch. For all we could perhaps see rumblings of what the new console will be by the time we have our next direct next year, whenever they decide to have another direct. Because this just feels like they're really just trying to push as much as they can out now, and that's why they were showing like Dark Moon. And Peach as well, even as far as like as the last direct, because the last direct, it feels like they didn't need to include Peach and Dark Moon. They could have had that announced here with as much as they had the show, but it just feels like it's getting that feeling of we're starting to wrap up this console generation for the Switch.
The rest of that new catalog that's being worked on right now, they need to save that for the reveal and launch of the new system.
Right, like that's when we get 3D Mario. That's when we get Donkey Kong. Yeah.
I think one of the strongest things about the Switch's reveal was just how many games were revealed alongside it. Like Super Mario Odyssey, for instance, Splatoon 2. If you don't have that backing for a new console reveal, why do I want it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And we all know Mario Kart 9 has been finished and it's just waiting in the little vaults.
Obviously.
They're ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously.
But
One of the things that's interesting to me, because I've been looking over the lineup as we've been talking about this, and I realize now why the weakness. Because I just in my head and when it's fresh, it's just like banger, 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 banger. But you see the in between stuff, and it's like, okay, I see the threads. If you're not into Mario, then it is a little iffy. Because the crazy thing in here is that we got a new Vanillaware game, and I don't know if there's definitely some fan stuff about it, but it's also not quite clicking for people.
Sure.
Yeah.
And there's also known quantities in this direct. Like we know Detective Pikachu. We know about WarioWare. Like there's nothing really new to say about those games. Like they look like WarioWare in particular looks really really good, but it's not like oh I can't believe they're showing this. You know we know it's going to be there.
Right. But you know what was a genuinely cool surprise in my opinion was Trombone Champ. I love that that's coming to Switch. I always wanted to try it. I've seen videos of it, streams of it. It's always cracked me up, and that just came out of nowhere. But it is absolutely the kind of thing I would love to have on Switch, and it's out. It's out today, and I can't wait to check it out. What a cool surprise!
Yeah, I think your enjoyment of this direct kind of hinges on how much you like the obscure stuff. Maybe like if you're a big Another Code fan, you probably lost your mind seeing that game. Yeah, and obviously most big Nintendo fans are Thousand Year Door fans, and they got their wish there. But otherwise, I guess there is quite a lot of lull in there. But Princess Peach looks outstanding, and so does Another Code, so does Paper Mario. F-Zero 99, I can't wait to play. I'll be playing that whenever I get a chance to.
Same as well.
Yeah.
Doing that right after this.
Got some decent indie news, because Dave Diver, I know, has been a pretty big thing. We're getting that.
Yeah.
Eastward got an expansion. Not sure why they decided to make it a farming sim, but okay.
Yeah. All right.
It's its own thing.
Yeah. Its own thing. I don't know.
One thing that I am so glad to have been wrong, and I'm perfectly fine going on the record saying I was wrong, is the Sora amiibo. Hooray! I know we mentioned earlier, I was completely wrong about it, and I
had faith.
Happy. I do wish we'd gotten his alts. I really wanted the Kingdom Hearts 3 alt. I figured we probably wouldn't if we did get it at all. But you know what? Sora amiibo's coming next year. Pre-ordering it's not going to be fun. Trying to get a hold of one's going to suck, but I'm going to do whatever I have to. Whatever I have to.
Yeah.
I did find it weird that there was no like NSO information, because September is when they do that, and there was nothing here. We have 2 games left for N64 that aren't out yet: Mario Party 3 and 1080 Snowboarding, I think.
It's
right.
Been a year.
And we still have GBA games that were shown in that lineup that have not come out.
Yeah, like Golden Sun, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. There's big stuff there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know like there's still a couple games to get through, but I kind of want to know what's going to happen after that. There's still a bunch of N64 games that haven't been announced that I want, like Smash and Diddy Kong Racing, and I don't know. It'll feel really weird if those 2 games come out and it's just radio silence.
Absolutely.
I hope that. I hope we get more after that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned in our previous discussion that they like to hold these titles on a podium. Like they'll announce them in their own specific area or their own specific video, and then they'll just that one game will have a dedicated tweet on it, and they'll say, "Oh, this is available next week," and it's like not now. But yeah, it's weird to have nothing announced, and I'm still in shambles of not knowing when Mario Party 3 is going to be released, if ever.
It's so weird.
The amount of time between it being announced, the original being announced in Japan, and actually coming out on N64 is probably shorter than the time they announced it for NSO here and then. And I'm baffled.
They're holding it back for Switch 2 launch title, Mario Party 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of where are things, Vedron in our live audience chat said, "Where the heck is Dragon Quest 3?" Yeah. Where the heck is it? I want to know that too.
Next console at this point.
we got demos for Star Ocean 2 and Dragon Quest Monsters 3, or the Dragon Quest Monsters game. Crickets. Nothing like you'd think it'd be in there, announcing like, "Hey, check out these demos today."
Right. And I played a little bit of Star Ocean 2R at PAX, and it looks great, very clean. So it would have been nice for them to highlight that a little. I'll be checking out the demo later today for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably all the time we got, because we got to get back to playing F-Zero 99 on our Nintendo Switch family of systems.
Exactly.
So
yeah, we do.
Yeah. let's wrap this thing up then. So it was a pretty good direct. Not like the best, but there's some really cool surprises in there. Lots of games that we probably could never have expected would have come back, did come back. And I think Mario vs. Donkey Kong, it gave me the best outcome I could have expected. I was very deflated after that Donkey Kong tease and then figuring out it was a mini game, but no, this is the best kind of thing you can do with the minis. The original game coming back.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Fair
pretty
point,
good
fair
direct.
point. Yeah.
But yeah. So this was recorded live in front of our live audience right after the Nintendo Direct. So in the future, if you also want to watch this straight after the Direct and see exactly what we think, you can do that by supporting us on patreon.com/GVGaming. We record plenty of discussions live in front of them. We give them early access to videos we've just finished and hold off posting live for other reasons like scheduling or whatever. And plenty of other things. You can also contribute to topics on GVG Cast and so much more. So consider becoming a patron if you can, but even if you can't, thank you for watching and supporting us. Ash, give us the magic word out.
Oh, good night and good vibes. I'm not sure what you mean.
Sure, we'll take it. Bye, everyone.
Good night and good vibes, everybody.
See ya.
Meet again.